Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon everyone. My name is Salsa Diva Nabila. On this opportunity, I would like to presentation cross-cultural understanding about intercultural communication. Well, without wasting the time, let me begin. Intercultural communication. Intercultural communication is a form of communication that aims to share information across different cultures, social groups, used to describe the various communication process and problems that naturally arise in organization consisting of individuals from a religious, social, ethnic, and cultural background. Intercultural communication play a role in social science such as anthropology, cultural studies, linguistics, psychology, and communication studies. Intercultural communication is also referred to as the basis for international business. Problem intercultural communication usually stem from problem in message transmission. In the communication of people from the same culture, the person who receives the message based on values, belief, and expectation for behavior similar to the person who sent the message. 1. Attitude. Sample case. The sample case describe attitude in intercultural communication, such as A. Globalization means that there is no a single business culture everywhere in the world. B. If they want to do business with me, then they have to adapt to my culture. C. When in Indonesia, do as Indonesians do. D. It is impossible to generalize culture. There are many differences. 2. Perception. The fact that people perceive the same thing in different ways is very important in intercultural communication. The way we perceive in culturally determine and a lack of awareness of this is another barrier to intercultural communication. 3. Stereotype. A stereotype is a persistent idea or image that many people have of a certain type of person, thing, or event, but sometimes it is not true in reality. In intercultural communication, it is very important to distinguish between what is part a person, a cultural background, and what is part of their personality. 4. Interpretation. Goody Kunz or in Gibson 2000 suggests 3 ways to examine our interpretation of other people's behavior. 1. Perception checking. 2. Listening effectively. 3. Giving feedback. 5. Culture shock. Culture shock is triggered by the anxiety of losing all the familiar signs and symbols of social relation. The sign argues the cover 1,001 ways in which we orient ourselves to everyday life situation. 6. Nonverbal behavior. Language is the main means of communication. Nonverbal behavior also communicates. Nonverbal patterns include gesture, facial expression, eye contact, body movement, touch, and use of space and time. Gestures are an obvious source of misunderstanding as they may have different meanings. B. Cultural learning. The cultural learning process can be assessed by experience, reflection, and training. Intercultural training not only provides information but also develops skill and encourage attitude to enable people to progress along the cultural learning curve. C. Dealing with difference. Mark or in Gibson 2000 lists in order priority what personal managers in German companies look for in international manager. 1. Social competence. 2. Openness in other way of thinking. 3. Cultural adaptation. 4. Professional advantage. 5. Language skill. 6. Flexibility. 7. Ability to manage or work in a team. 8. Family adaptation. 9. Patience. 10. Sensitivity. Note that in the list, professional excellence is not at top of the list. If technical skill the only criterion for working on a ship, the result will rarely be successful. Where aggression, spread, and contaminants may be important to monocultural setting, they can be danger in intercultural setting, where qualities such as adaptability and a high tolerance for ambiguity are more important. D. Improving intercultural communication. In interacting with people from foreign culture, an interculturally competent person understands certain cultural concepts of perception, thought, feeling, and action. The basic requirements for intercultural competence are 1. Break assumption. Everyone makes or has assumptions about other people's assumptions are beliefs rather than objective truth and are usually influenced by a number of subjective factors. For intercultural communication to really work, people need to assess their assumption and ask themselves why they hold that idea or belief. 2. Empathy. To appreciate and understand people from different cultures, empathy is essential. By putting yourself in the other people's shoes, you will see or appreciate their point of view. 3. Involve. Involving in a task or decision making is empowering, build strong relationship. Using intercultural diversity is essentially a more creative approach to problem solving because it incorporates different points of view. 4. Discourse herd mentality. The herd mentality refers to a closed one-dimensional approach. Such a way of thinking limits creativity, innovation, and progress because people are limited in how they think, approach, and engage with people or challenge. 5. Avoid insensitive behavior. People can and do behave in culturally insensitive ways. By attacking someone, you attack their culture and therefore their dignity. This can only be divisive. Effective communication depends on an informal understanding between the parties involved, which is based on the trust developed between them. Alright, I think that's all my presentation. Thank you very much. Good afternoon everyone. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.